Please, the show starts in...
Good evening, everyone. It's so nice to see you all in chat. We've missed you. Good evening, Tara.
Hello.
How's everybody doing?
They look like
How's
they're pretty good and active.
Yeah, how's everybody been? It's been a long time, and we miss you guys. We miss doing these lives and seeing you guys in chat and just discussing the case with you guys.
Absolutely. It's been too long. We have to get like our ducks in a row, horses in a rein. I don't know.
We get our groove back. We need
to get our shit together.
That's true too.
You're not going to say it, but I will, and everybody knows.
Yes, we need to get our shit together. But there has been some new developments in the case of Veronica and Jilian. And so Tara and I wanted to share the facts of what we have learned with you guys. So we do have a plea, not a plea deal, but we have a plea from Tifany. And then as the thumbnail, missing phones and gun, we're going to explain that, what we mean by that. We have some Akora's testimony we want to share with you regarding those cell phones of Veronica and Jilian's. And a tip that I received very early on while I was still in Guyman or on the ground out there searching. And so we want to kind of talk to you guys about that. Hopefully that person or persons will come forward and just, it's like, we just kind of want to confirm like the conversation I had. It's hard to remember from a year ago. So I just want to confirm some of the details and see if we still have them right. Do you want to add anything to that, Tara?
Yeah, just that sometimes with some of these tips, they come in fast and hard, and they're hard to keep up with. And as Carrie and I go back through our notes, every time there's a break in the case, we go back through our notes, we go back and we reflect on things. And this is one of those things that we're like, hey, I remember that tip. Do you remember that tip? Yeah, I remember that one. So when you have something that just sticks out, you there's a reason for it, right?
Yeah.
So just one of those things, we want to go back, make sure that we tied up all those loose ends. And if there's anything there to look into, then we can share that. Not to say that it's going to help the case at all necessarily. This is more for,
it might.
It could. But it's like it's not to say that we're law enforcement, but like law enforcement says, you want to exhaust every lead, and sometimes you got to go backwards and be like, oh, that makes a little more sense now that we have a little more information.
Right.
So that's where we're going with this, and this won't be the last time we ask for somebody to come back and be like, hey, it's not that we forgot who you are. We just got so much. And this was kind of a new thing for both of us. Carrie's been doing true crime for a long time, and I just stepped into it. But this was a live, real-time type of situation, so we learned a lot. And this is one of those lessons learned. We're like, we need to take better notes going forward. How about that?
Yes, absolutely. And then we're going to talk about November 5th arraignment and what that schedule is going to be for that. And then January 28th. There is sentencing, I believe. Is that correct?
It is a sentencing.
Yes,
and it's
January 28th is a sentencing.
Interesting schedule of sentencing. And so I want to get into that because I think that is fascinating.
Yes. And then we also want to discuss the naming of the highway with you guys. So that's kind of our agenda for tonight. If you guys have questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. We'll answer anything that we can. Our membership link is pinned. That's a great way to help support the channel. And then of course, pay links are on the screen, and we won't be asking you to donate or anything, but if you want to help us, then that's where you can do it. All right.
Or if you want us just to pay you a visit, you can drop some dough in there so we can make gas money for it. Works too. I mean, we can do in-person visits. We've been asked for photos before. It's a little awkward.
Oh my gosh.
You remember that?
Oh my gosh, yes. Tara's gonna do an OnlyFans hand photo.
Oh my gosh, here we go again. I need to do that so you guys will stop saying it. Oh boy. All right. So let's hop into it with Tifany's plea deal.
Go to Tifany's plea.
Well, I guess plea deal, plea. The words, first off, it's a weird thing. We got the documentation late this afternoon. Thankfully for those that work in Texas County, they stay on top of their duties. And so we got this paperwork late in the day. And I'm just gonna say it, Carrie. There's gonna be some, if you haven't seen it, prepare thyself. because there is a shocker. I think it's a shocker. I had a lot of bad words.
There is a shocker.
I said out loud.
Someone definitely shared a lot of bad words to each other this afternoon about this, that we're going to read the whole document to you. I have no doubt you guys are going to feel the same way that we do. So be prepared. Be prepared to be a little pissed off, I think.
I was, for sure. So yeah, let's rip the Band-Aid off and do it.
You want to go first page?
Yeah, I'll start with the first page. So in the and make sure we're on the same document. It looks like we are. So, and I'm using a different screen because, man, what Carrie's using is too small for me. So in the District Court of
summary of facts. Yeah.
Yes, perfect. So in the District Court of Texas County in the state of Oklahoma, Tifany Michelle Adams came before the court, right? And this was the title of the document is a felony plea of no contest. Guilty is struck out, and it's no contest. And the summary of facts are, is your name true? If not, what's your correct name? That's not mentioned there, but the name is true as per the top of the document, which was handwritten in as Tifany Michelle Adams. And I believe I'm saying that correct, Michelle. My lawyer's name is Mitchell S. Solomon and Alex Richard. Do you have a court or a record of these proceedings by a court reporter? Yes. Do you wish to waive this right? No. Age 55, grade completed in high school, bachelor's degree. I'm going to be honest, I didn't know she had an education. I'd love to know if it was in whatever, because she doesn't seem educated at all. Can you read and understand this form? Yes. Are you currently taking medications, substances which affect your ability to understand these proceedings? No. Have you taken any have you been prescribed any medications that you should be taking, but you're not taking? Also, no. Have you ever been treated by a doctor or health professional for mental illness or confined in a hospital for mental illness? No. Do you understand the nature and consequences of this proceeding? Yes. Do you have you received a copy of the information and read its allegations? Yes. Does the state move to dismiss or amend any case or cases or count or counts in the information or on page 2 of the information? If so, set forth the cases, counts dismissed or amended. And it says in handwriting, pursuant to the plea agreement, the state moves to dismiss counts 3, 8, and 9. And just so we're clear, count 3 was the count of conspiracy to commit murder. Counts 8 and 9 were the child neglect charges. So those were being moved to be dismissed, which means they're going to be dropped. So that's the end of page 1. Do you want to go on to page 2?
Sure thing. All right. Get it pulled back up. Okay.
Right.
So do you understand that you are charged with, and number 1 says see addendum B. She responds yes. 12B, are you charged after former conviction of felony? No. Number 13, have you been previously convicted of felony? No. Number 14, do you understand that upon a conviction on a plea of guilty to the offense of murder in first degree? She says yes. You will be required to serve a minimum sentence of 85% of the sentence of imprisonment imposed before being eligible for parole consideration, and are not eligible for earned or other type of credits, which will have the effect of reducing the length of sentence to less than 85% of the sentence imposed. She responds yes. So she will have to serve 85% of the sentence for the murder in first degree, and the rest are left. Let's see, this one. Do you understand that a conviction on a plea of guilty to the offense of murder in the first degree will subject you to a mandatory compliance with the Mary Rippey Violent Crime Offenders Registration Act? She says yes. And do you understand that the court is required to include in the sentence of any person convicted of a felony and sentenced to a term of imprisonment after November 1st, 2012, a term of post-imprisonment supervision? The post-imprisonment supervision shall be for a period of not less than 9 months nor more than 1 year following confinement of the person, and shall be served under conditions prescribed by the Department of Corrections. There will be no post-imprisonment supervision for a sentence of life without the possibility of parole. And she answers yes to that one.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
So we move on to page 4.
And to answer Patrick's question, yes. So 2 life sentences, both at 85%, a minimum of 85%.
So that's an interesting, I'm glad somebody brought that up, Patrick. Thank you. Because if you look at Oklahoma state law, the 85% rule it has an application level. And so and you have to go back and look, and there's more research. So I think this is going to be one of those fuzzy lines where the life sentence is considered to be about 45 years in Oklahoma. However, later in the document, you're going to see a bit of a contingency, or a bit of a caveat, I should say. So hold tight to that statement right there, because we're going to hit on that in a moment. So if we move on to page 4, item number 15 is what are the charges to which the defendant is or are entering a plea today. So the first charge is first-degree murder. Second charge is first-degree murder. The fourth charge, because remember the third is being dismissed. Fourth charge is unlawful removal of a dead body. Fifth charge is unlawful removal of a dead body. And then charges 6 and 7 are both desecration of a human corpse. So 16, do you understand the range of punishment for the crimes? And it says see addendum B. And it's number 1 of 16 is the minimum to a maximum and a fine. While there's nothing in those blanks, it says that she does understand, because addendum B is going to become important here in a moment. And then there's additional charges, but it's back to addendum B. And then she has to read the following statements, because these are her rights in this particular plea of no contest. You have the right to a speedy trial before a jury for the determination of whether you are guilty or not guilty, and if you request, to determine sentence. If pleading capital murder, advise of procedure, blah, 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 at the trial, you have the right to a lawyer to represent you, either one you hire yourself, or if you are indigent, a court-appointed attorney. 2, you are presumed to be innocent of the charges. 3, you may remain silent, or if you choose, you may testify on your behalf. 4, if you have the right to see and hear all witnesses called to testify against you and the right to cross-examine them. 5, you may have your witness ordered to appear in court to testify and present evidence of any defense you have the right to, oh my gosh, words, and present evidence of any defense you have to these charges. 6, the state is required to prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. 7, the verdict of guilty or not guilty decided by a jury must be unanimous. However, you can waive a jury trial, and if all parties agree, the case would be tried by a judge alone, who would decide if you were guilty or not guilty, and if guilty, the appropriate punishment. Do you understand these rights? And she answers yes. Do you understand by entering a plea of no contest, you give up these rights? Yes. Do you understand that a conviction on a plea of no contest could increase punishment in any future case committed after this plea? Yes. Have you talked over the charges with your attorney, advised him or her regarding any defense you may have to the charges, and had his or her advice? Yes. Do you believe your lawyer has effectively assisted you in this case, and are you satisfied with his or her advice? Yes. Do you wish to change your plea of not guilty to no contest and give up your right to a jury trial and all other previously explained constitutional rights? Yes. Is there a plea agreement? Yes. What is your understanding of the plea agreement? See Exhibit A. So again, take plea agreement loosely to a certain degree. When we got the information this morning, we were told one thing, and then we got the documentation, and that one thing was better clarified, which is why we are coming on live tonight to clarify this morning's post on Facebook. Carrie, the next page is yours.
All right. Hopefully, can you guys see that a little better on the screen now? I hope I made it.
Yeah, bigger. I'm using my main laptop is smaller, and I can see it much better.
Okay. Hopefully everybody can see it pretty good. If you can't, let me know and I'll make it larger. So number 24, do you understand the court is not bound by any agreement or recommendation? And if the court does not accept the plea agreement, you have the right to withdraw your plea of no contest? Yes. Do you understand that if there is no plea agreement, the court can sentence you within the range of punishment stated in question 16? Yes. Do you understand your plea of guilty to the charge is after no prior felony convictions? 26A, do you understand if you're not a United States citizen, your plea or conviction or admitting the crime or the essential elements of the crime can result in you being rendered subject to deportation, inadmissible to the United States, denied relief from deportation, ineligible for naturalization, and could result in you being removed from the United States permanently. Of course, that didn't apply to her, but yes. If applicable, have you been advised by your attorney that upon entering either a guilty, Alford, or no contest plea, and or should there be a subsequent revocation or acceleration of a probated sentence, that you are subject to having to serve 85% of any prison sentence imposed? Yes. What are your pleas to the charges and to each one of them? Number 1, no contest. 2, no contest. 4, 5, 6, and 7, no contest. Did you commit the acts as charged in the information? And it says, state the factual basis for your plea. And they wrote, see state's offer of proof. Have you been forced, abused, mistreated, or promised anything by anyone to have you enter your plea? No. Do you plead no contest of your own free will and without any coercion or compulsion of any kind? Yes. If you are entering a plea to a felony offense, you have a right to pre-sentence investigation and report, which would contain the circumstances of the offense, any criminal record, social history, and other background information about you. Do you want to have the report? She answered no. All right.
All right, so it continues on. Do you have any additional statements to make to the court? No. Is there any legal reason you should not be sentenced now? Sentencing date to be scheduled. Having been sworn, I, the defendant, whose signature appears below, make the following statements under oath. I have read, understood, and completed this form. My attorney completed this form, and we have gone over the form, and I understand its contents and agree with the answers. See Addendum A. So it's signed yesterday by the defendant and then a notary public. So then we move on down to where it says approval by the state. The sentence recommendation in question 23 is correctly stated. I believe the recommendation is fair to the state of Oklahoma. Offer of proof, and it's attached Exhibit B. On entering a plea to a felony offense, the state has a right to a pre-sentence investigation and report. Does the state waive the right to a pre-sentence investigation? Yes. The state hereby makes application to waive any prohibition against suspended sentences herein pursuant to 22 OS 99AC, and or waives prohibition against deferred sentences herein to the same alphanumeric code there. And it's yes. And it was signed by the district attorney. So then we move on to the next page, Carrie.
All right. So the next one, the court finds as follows. 37A, the defendant was sworn and responded to questions under oath. B, the defendant understands the nature, purpose, and consequences of this proceeding. C, the defendant's plea of no contest is knowingly and voluntarily entered and accepted by the court. The defendant is competent for the purpose of this hearing. A factual basis exists for the plea. F is the defendant is guilty as charged after no prior felony convictions. Sentencing or order deferring sentence shall be continued until the 28th day of January 26 at 9 a.m. If the pre-sentence investigation report is requested, it shall be provided to the court, and that was waived.
Mm-hmm.
And this was done on the October 14th. So then we are moving on to the Addendum B that they've talked about.
Yep.
And these are the charged crimes.
Yeah, so the first count is murder in the first degree, deliberate intent. This has a sentence of a minimum of life to a maximum of life without the possibility of parole or death. Very important. We'll come back to that in just a second. Count 2, murder in the first degree, deliberate intent, minimum of life to maximum of life without the possibility of parole or death. Okay, count number 3, state moves to dismiss the count of conspiracy. So that won't even be applicable as far as sentencing. Count 4, unlawful removal of a dead body. Sentencing includes no minimum, maximum of 1 year in jail or 5 years in prison, and a fine of $0 to $5,000. Counts 5 and 6 are identical in the unlawful removal of a dead body. There's no minimum, but there's a maximum of 1 year in jail or 5 years in prison and a fine of anywhere from $0 to $5,000 per count. And then counts 6 and 7, also identical, unlawful desecration of a human corpse. Sentences include either no minimum or maximum of 7 years and a fine of anywhere from $0 to $8,000 per count. Again, the counts 8 and 9, the state moved to dismiss, which included the child neglect charges. Real quick here, again, even though there's an 85% rule that seems to apply up top, counts 1 and 2 include life without the possibility of parole. That's important in the state of Oklahoma, we have found in our research today. And now we come down to the next page, Carrie. Take deep breaths, folks.
Yeah. All right. So this is what really had Tara and I pissed off this afternoon.
That's a way to put it.
Plea agreement, Exhibit A. Number 1, in exchange for the defendant's plea of no contest, the state of Oklahoma agrees it will not file a bill of particulars or seek the death penalty in this case. So no death penalty, but no possibility of parole. Correct, Tara?
Correct.
Yes, okay. Number 2, the state agrees to dismiss the following counts. Count 3, conspiracy to commit murder in the first degree. Count 8 and 9, child neglect. The sentences on remaining counts are as follows. Count 1, murder in the first degree, deliberate intent, a felony, life without the possibility of parole. Count number 2, murder in the first degree, deliberate intent, a felony, life without the possibility of parole. Debbie, yes, there's a deal. Count 4, unlawful removal of a dead body, a felony, 5 years. Count 5, unlawful removal of a dead body, a felony, 5 years. Count 6, unlawful desecration of a human corpse, a felony, 7 years. And the same for count 7, a felony, 7 years. Counts 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, and 7 all run concurrently with each other with credit for time served. So there's the answer that had been being asked in the chat. Mm-hmm. So those sentences are all going to run concurrently.
And without the possibility of parole, the 85% rule does not apply, it looks like, based on our non-lawyer degrees and our comprehension of this in our research today.
All right. The defendant will pay all associated court costs and fees. Court-appointed attorney fees are waived. But here you go. This is what really goes. Number 6, the state will not require the defendant to testify in the case of any related defendant or any matter related to the underlying events of this case. Tifany Adams does not have to testify. Can you guys believe that shit?
In this case, she will not have to testify against if Tag goes to trial, if Cole goes to trial, if for some reason Paul and Cora decide to renege on their plea deals and go to trial. Tifany does not have to testify as long as she sticks to this deal. She has until January 28th. So she can backpedal on this too if she wants to.
Yeah.
But this is where we are at.
Are you guys as angry about this as we were?
You should see the chat. It is on fire.
Just really, yeah. All right, Sarah, you can read that one.
We're heading down to the state's offer of proof. So let's say, the state is saying, okay, fine, we're going to do this. Here's the gig. If this goes to trial, as the district attorney, as the state of Oklahoma, this is what we're going to do. This is what we're going to prove. We're going to present evidence to the courts that on or about the 30th day of March, 2024 in Texas County, Oklahoma, the defendant, Tifany Adams, aided and abetted in the commission of the deliberate and intentioned deaths of Veronica Butler and Jilian Kelly, in which they were stabbed multiple times with a knife and did die as a result of the wounds inflicted. That on or about the 30th day of March, 2024, in Texas County, Oklahoma, the defendant Tifany Adams aided, abetted, and planned the removal of the dead bodies of Veronica Butler and Jilian Kelly from the original places of their death to the property of Jamie Beasley without authorization from the district attorney or medical examiner or their authorized representatives, and without circumstances to justify the removal, and also that on or about the 30th day of March 2024 in Texas County, Oklahoma, the defendant Tifany Adams aided, abetted, and planned the desecration of the human corpses of Veronica Butler and Jilian Kelly by disposing of their bodies and burying them in a freezer underground, which impeded the detection, investigation, and prosecution of the crimes and resulted in the loss of evidence, to wit, DNA, fibers, prints, etc. A couple things to note real quick here. Just because they're saying loss of evidence, that doesn't mean they lost evidence. That's could just be a cover your backside situation. Keep that in mind. So let's not jump to conclusions here. But this page in total says, okay, Tiff, that's fine. We can do this. We can do this your way. But if you don't follow through, this is what we're going to do to you. We will prove that you did these things. So they're saying we have enough evidence to do this. So is it a plea deal? Essentially, yes. However, Tifany's not taking accountability. All she's saying is, I'm not going to say I did it. I'm not going to say I didn't do it, but I'll take your punishment anyway. She is circumventing the process, and then
I just don't understand how they allowed this to happen. I really don't. She was a mastermind of all of this BS, and the fact that they're letting her walk away without it. I just feel like she should have had to testify.
It is. It made me so mad. And again, I had multiple curse words, some that we all know of, some I'm pretty sure I pulled out of thin air over the lakes of Michigan somewhere. But there's got to be something more, right? When things don't make sense, when things don't add up, that means there's a detail somewhere for whatever reason. Ultimately, she's going to spend the rest of her life. She will die in prison. She is not getting out because the 85% rule does not apply. So in the state of Oklahoma, there are certain areas, certain laws that are committed and you're convicted of where the 85% rule does apply. When you look at the 85% rule, good behavior doesn't apply. You can't use the 85% rule in good behavior to further reduce your sentence. You're going to serve 85% of that time no matter what. One of the few caveats to that 85% rule is life without the possibility of parole. She's not getting out. She is done for. She's going to die in prison. Hopefully one with very, very active females who like redheads. I'm just going to say it.
Katie said, I imagine the other two will follow and take a plea as well to get out of testifying. They will all take what happened to their own graves. I'm afraid that that's going to be the case as well.
What's that?
I mean, after seeing this today, I wonder if any of it's even going to go to trial. Katie Ingram said, I imagine the other two will follow, Tad and Cole, and take a plea as well to get out of testifying. They will all take what happened to their own graves.
So, yeah, actually, I think, Carrie, you and I were going back and forth, and I just got sidetracked. I had another little piece of information come in that I need to be reminded to share with everybody. Does it look like the other two could walk away from this? I think Cole has the best chance of walking away with the fewest years, if any years possible. I went back through the transcript from the preliminary trial, and it's like, oh, he might have a little bit.
He's got a lot of outs, really.
He really does, I think. Not being a lawyer, looking at this from I've seen 2,000 episodes of all of the criminal shows out there, and then Google and I are good friends. I would say Cole's got the best case, which is probably why he doesn't have a solid plea deal in play. Mm-hmm. Tad, however, that doesn't look so good. I think he is just ornery enough, I'll put it. I don't know him very well. I've heard a couple of different sides to him, but I think he's just enough of a mama's boy, of a follower, because quite frankly, and I've heard this time and time again, he's not much of a masculine man. He does what he's told. Right. He has no backbone. He has no spine. He only does what he's told. And Cora's testimony in the preliminary hearing really does back that up. And she even said, yeah, Tad just does what Tifany tells him to do. He never speaks up. He never steps out. He never stands up for anything. Now, that means he's got to take that aggression out somewhere. So imagine what some domestic situations could possibly look like for him. It's probably not good. But can they take this stuff to their graves? No, I don't think so, because Cora and Paul have to give it all up if they want their plea deals.
Right.
Cora's looking at 40 years, I believe, 30 or 40 years. Paul's looking at life. Paul has what is defined, we can only be defined as a heart, because he said, I need to come forward. I need to make this right. I need to do what's right by the family and tell the truth so they have closure. So we're going to get those details out there.
I feel the most, like the testimony wise, Paul definitely gave more information as far as details.
Yes.
Cora, I remember feeling at the time like she was trying to protect Cole. That's like, I'm going down for this, so I'm going to protect my husband so he doesn't. That's how I felt at the time. I still feel that way. Real quick, and what Donna said, I can tell you that while we aren't happy, we are, if that makes sense. And it makes perfect sense, LaDonna. She will never see life beyond prison walls again. So I totally get that. Like, she's going to die in prison. So if I was her family, either of the women's family, I would feel the same way. It's a whole lot to go through these trials, and this, horrible stuff gets brought up again and again and again, and they have to relive it every damn time.
So exactly. So that was why the post this morning was worded the way it was. There's a couple of benefits to this. First off, obviously, this kind of situation benefits Tifany in a couple of different ways. One, she doesn't get to incriminate herself when she goes on the stand and has to testify against the rest of her cohort, right? And so she doesn't get to incriminate herself, and that doesn't get to be used against her in any civil lawsuits that may or may not, or absolutely do exist, right? And they can't use this no contest against her. However, unless something wonky, unless some judge they find has some sort of mental issue or does not know how to practice law very well behind the bench, she has zero chance for appeals. She can try it, but there's paperwork we just read that said, yeah, I get that. I get I'm giving up all my rights. I get that I'm doing this. So she can't come back and say, yeah, my attorney wasn't that great. And if I had understood my evidence better, I wouldn't have done this. She can't do that. She literally just signed away her life to prison forever, hopefully with a nice, very masculine type woman who loves redheads with curly, frizzy hair. I'm just saying, again, I'll say that over and over again because I feel like that's appropriate. A couple of things, though. I saw in the chat somebody offered for the DA and other legal representatives to F right off. Usually it looked like taking long walks off of short cliffs. I can get behind that statement for those of you that were trying to make that in the chat. I can. And also, there's information we don't have access to. We're not law enforcement. We are able to paint a good portion of this picture, but we're still missing some details. We're still missing some things, which we're going to talk about those things here shortly. And if Tifany was that hard up and she was that willing to say, I'm not going to say I did or didn't do anything, when all of this was supposed to be about kids, right? This was all supposed to be the greater good for taking care of kids, but she isn't standing up to that. So it makes you wonder just how serious were some allegations she was making, just how much credit she really had to her name when it came to saying, this is why I want to do this. This is why we need to do this. And we can get into more of that later, because like I said, I went back through the transcript today and yesterday, and I saw some really good points that were made about, were the kids really in danger if Veronica had supervised visits for a long time? Some things to think about.
Right.
So but yeah, lots of, I have not reached out to every family member I wanted to express my discontent. But enraging, absolutely enraged. And I just received a message that says, Tad is probably going to fight this out till the end or the money runs out. Probably so.
He might. Betsy Ross asked, sorry, just in, can Tip or any of them get the death penalty? So far, I think death penalty's off the table for all of them that we know of so far, right?
For Cora, for Paul. Now, Paul is still tentative. during his preliminary, it was stated he could have the death penalty off. I've not seen that plea deal yet, but it sounds like he's going to do, per his testimony, if he stays true and has any iota of integrity, he said he would pay the price, whatever it was. And so he's not solid yet. Cora should be solid in her 30 to 40 years. As long as Tifany goes to her sentencing and says, yep, we're good in January, she's solid with no death penalty. The other two, Cole and Tad, are still up their heads in the what is that thing called? It's not the gauntlet. The head chopping thingy majigger from the old times. I wish I could come up with the name of that. But they're on the chopping block right now. And if I'm wrong, I will get messages about that for certain, thankfully. So that is and again, when the post went out this morning on Facebook, that was based on going into a couple of websites and seeing synopsis of these documents. Once we got the documents,
it's frustrating.
Shenanigans.
Yeah.
It's just Gallows. Thank you, Patrick. Thank you, Gallows. Where were you 30 seconds ago, man? Dang it. Thank you. But Guillotine and Gallows. People are helping me out now. Thank you. That's what I was looking for. So, but how frustrating. So with that in mind, folks, this is a lot of information for families to process, for loved ones to process, for everybody to process. So unless you are one of the inner circle family members, unless you're one of those people that is super close, having been through, Carrie and I have both been through traumatic situations where you just don't know what you need until somebody just does it for you. Make sure to provide the space that's needed right now, because while it is happy, not happy, it's still like, man, WTF, for reals, yeah, WTF. Sure. And everybody's coming. Yes, Guillotine. I know I'm getting it in text messages and on the chat. Yes, Guillotine.
Hey, I was no help. You know,
I'm where are you, Carrie? I know I wasn't going to ask you.
I'll always go to Tara and be like, what is that word I'm looking for? Now, give it to me. And usually she does right away.
Oh, I could see it in my head, which is probably not a good mental image for me to have at this point, but that's fine.
Husker RN said, with all the evidence, why would they make a deal with Tifany? That's my question, too. I just don't understand it.
I'll openly speculate, because I'll speculate before Carrie does. I would really like to go, and I'm going to be a real brat about this. So those who are in the legal services in that part of the country, sorry, not sorry. Honestly, when you look at the lawyers who are representing each aspect of this case, Joy Miskell has the reputation for basically being the mistress of the murderers, right? She's known for being a hard ass in the court system. She's known for getting people off. She's got a reputation. So her trial experience, trial court. I know how to say that. Just nothing sounds right coming out. Her experience in the courtroom, specific to criminal activities, appears to be bar none compared to who's in the courtroom. I don't know. She came in with a reputation. When you have somebody like Buddy Leach, the guy looks like he's going to be retiring in the next few years. It looks like he was just trying to coast out his career in the panhandle of Oklahoma, where you kind of go out there hoping the worst thing I'm going to deal with is probably traffic violations, trekking situations, if you will. And if you know, you know. So it's one of those things where maybe Leach isn't prepared to take this on and see it through all the way. I don't know. And I know if you've been a career attorney, would you prefer a slam dunk case and just, like put it to bed as fast as you can, not put the family through all the drama of a trial after trial after trial? Because think about it, there'd be 5 trials potentially with this. So that's a lot. So I think there's several things that are probably going to play here. I do know family has been in communication with the DA throughout this entire process. Yes. And I know that they've had they've been able to express themselves and what their positions are. Does that mean they get to influence and have the say so? No, but I know that there is some weight given to what their experiences are throughout this whole ordeal from day one.
Yes. Absolutely. All right. Well, you want to talk about some phones?
Carrie, that sounded like a commercial. Should we move on to telephonic devices? Yes, let's move on to phones. That would be fabulous. Let me minimize this screen. Let me bring up the other screen. Bring up the notes. Oh, do you want to? We're looking at the wrong screen now. Okay, so
Maybe
so
we should start with going. Okay, we want to discuss the phones of Veronica and Jilian. That's what we want to discuss.
Yeah, yes.
I think we'll start off with there's a portion of Cora's testimony, the transcript, that we have that we'd like to read to you guys first. And it goes back over what Cora's actual testimony was word for word and what she had to say about these two cell phones. And then we want to kind of talk to you guys about it and see what you think, okay? Does that sound right, Tara?
They're going to have to, we're taking them along for the ride. So they're kind of our hostages for this live. So yeah, they love it.
They won't mind. Let me get that on my screen then. All right. Hopefully everybody can see that. Let's see. There we go. And it's little. The writing's little. I'm sorry. It's little so on our screens too. So, all right. Thank you, LaDonna. I was doing three things at once, and I responded that LaDonna is Veronica's aunt. Oops. All right. So I guess I'll do I'll start with the answer and you can do the question. Sound good, Tara?
Yeah, and this is Cora and Leach. So Cora and the district attorney talking about the phones, just to set the scene from the preliminary hearing.
Yes. Okay. So, and remember, this is starting like halfway through the transcript. We're not going to read the whole thing. It's just about the phones mainly. Mm-hmm. All right. So I will be Cora and you will be Leach. So go ahead on the question one.
Okay. So starting on line 2?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. He didn't call out your name or Tiffany's name?
No.
So he's just asking for help in general?
Yes.
What was he saying?
He just said, I need some help. I need some help.
And then what happened next?
Tifany handed me a cell phone, and I handed her the taser.
Okay.
That was in my hoodie pocket.
Okay. And why did you hand her the taser?
I told her she could go help Paul.
Okay. At various times, perhaps, when you've testified before to the officers and we all discussed, when you refer to the term taser?
Yeah.
Is that the same as the stun device?
Yes.
Can you describe that for the court?
It looked like a flashlight.
Okay. So it's a flashlight on one side, and it also shocks somebody if you touch them with it.
Yes, if you push the right button.
If you push the right button?
Uh-huh.
Okay. And as far as the stun devices goes, all of you received the exact same type of stun device?
Yes.
So Paul needs help. He's asking for help, and you give your stun device to Tifany.
Yes.
Adams. And she gives you a cell phone.
Yes.
Pursuant to the plan, what are you supposed to do with the cell phone?
She had brought me a metal ammo can and tinfoil, and I was supposed to wrap them up in the tinfoil and put them in the ammo box.
Okay.
Destroy them, wrap them in tinfoil, and put them in the ammo box.
Okay, that's what your job was.
Yes.
Okay. So you had one cell phone. What did you do next?
I got in Veronica's car, and I got the other cell phone out of the console.
Okay. What way did you travel in order to do that?
I had to go back north to get to the passenger side door of her car.
Okay. So you were going to retrieve the other cell phone through the passenger side door?
Yes.
So you walked back north, and then what did you do?
Got in the car and got the cell phone.
Okay, so at this point in time, you have both of the cell phones.
Yes.
And then what did you do?
I took them to the back of the flatbed on the driver's side and found a cinder block and destroyed them.
When you say flatbed truck, what truck are you talking about?
Clint's, the one hooked to the trailer.
So as you're walking south, you're going towards Clint Twombly's truck. Did you go on the west side of the trailer or the east side of the trailer?
East side.
At this point in time, have you glanced over and seen anything else with regard to Paul Grice and Veronica Butler?
Just that they were on the ground.
Okay. So you retrieve the cell phones from the car and you have the cell phone. At that point in time, did you see Paul Grice on top of Veronica?
Yes.
And would you tell the court what you did actually see?
I saw him on top of her on the ground and his arms going up and down.
Okay. Based on what you saw, what did you believe was happening?
I believed he was stabbing her.
But were you actually able to see the knife at that time?
No.
At this point in time, have you seen Tad Cullum yet?
No.
Have you seen Jillian Kelly there at the crime scene?
No.
Pursuant to the plan, who was supposed to kill Veronica Butler and Jillian Kelly?
Tad Cullum.
So at that point, Miss Miskell, who is Tad's attorney, provides an objection saying it's asked and answered. The court sustains it. So then Buddy Leach goes back to questioning. At this point in time, where did you believe Jillian Kelly was at?
Inside the trailer.
And if I understand your testimony, then you've gone to the back of Clint Twombly's truck, you've gotten some type of cinder block, and have you attempted to destroy the phones? Is that correct?
Yes.
Then what did you do?
Then I took them back to my pickup that had been moved.
Okay.
Then I got the ammo can out
Okay.
and put them in there.
Okay. Who moved your truck?
Tifany did.
Where was the truck moved to?
Next to, on the east side of Veronica's car and a little bit to the front of it.
Okay. So that's you. Sorry.
So between her car and the trailer.
Okay. Judge may approach the witness. The judge says you may. And then Mr. Leach thanks the judge. And then back to Leach questioning. I'm going to hand you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 7. Again, just for demonstrative purposes, illustration purposes. Do you recognize where your truck's been moved to?
Yes.
And does it generally accurately reflect where your truck was moved to on March 30th, there at the crime scene?
Yes.
Again, there would probably have been more space to the north and more space to the south. Is that correct? Oh, because the space between the trailer and the car, you said, was about a car length and a half.
Yes.
Okay, but as far as the general location, that would be correct.
Yes.
And then, Judge, they present that evidence to the court, and it's accepted. And back to Leach. So you've smashed the phones. Now what do you do?
I walked back to my pickup to get the can out and put them in the can.
And where was the can located at in your pickup?
It was behind the passenger side seat.
As you walk back towards your pickup truck, what path did you take?
Down the driver's side of the trailer to the passenger side of my pickup.
Okay, so you're walking straight north.
Yes.
And you're on the east side of the trailer?
Yes.
So once you clear the trailer and you're approaching your truck, are you able to see anything with regard to the crime scene towards the west?
No.
Could you tell the court why?
Because the trailer gate was open.
According to the original plan, was the trailer gate ever supposed to be open?
No.
There at the crime scene?
No.
So when the trailer gates open, it blocked your view.
Yes.
What did you do next?
I went to the pickup and put the phones in the ammo can.
Okay, and where was the ammo can at?
Behind the passenger side seat in my pickup.
Okay, so you've busted the phones. Is there anything else you were supposed to do with the phones before you put them in the ammo can?
To wrap them in tinfoil.
Okay, and did you do that?
Yes.
And then what did you do?
And I turned around to see what was going on.
Okay. And what did you do with the ammo can?
I shut it and left it in the front seat
Of your truck.
of my pickup, yes.
Okay. So whenever you turn to see what's going on with the direction, what direction are you facing?
West.
And would you tell the court what do you see?
The trailer gate was open and the freezer was at the back of the trailer, and Paul and Tad were loading Veronica in the trailer.
If you know, had the trailer been moved closer to Veronica at this time?
Yes, at some point it had been backed up.
Do you have any idea who backed it up?
No,
Okay.
I didn't see who backed it up.
You said you turned to the west, but as far as what you're looking, as far as the trailer, where was the trailer located at with regard to where you were located at?
It would have been, the gate was almost right in front of me
Okay.
because I had to step around it, and the trailer was then to my left, to the south.
Okay. Trailer was to the south.
Yes.
Okay. So at this point in time, you are north of the trailer and you're looking at the trailer.
Yes.
Okay. Would you describe to the court what you're looking at? What do you see?
I see the freezer and Tad and Paul loading Veronica in the trailer between the freezer and the side of the trailer.
Okay. Was the freezer rectangular in shape?
Yes.
And how was it set in the back of the trailer?
Where the open side of it would have been towards the front of the trailer. The hinge was towards the back.
Okay. So basically it stretches. It's long ways. It's set in there longwise in the back of the trailer.
It's sitting from side to side, not front to back. Yes.
Okay. And was the gap at between the side of the trailer and the freezer? Was it on the east side of the freezer or the west side of the freezer?
West side of the freezer, passenger side of the trailer.
Okay. Where was Tad Cullum located at?
Inside the trailer.
And where was Paul Grice located at?
Outside of the trailer at the back.
Okay. And what was Tad Cullum doing?
Trying to pull Veronica into the trailer.
And what was Paul Grice doing?
Trying to lift her arms and her body into the trailer.
While you were looking there, did you see them? Were you able to see them completely and totally get her loaded into the trailer?
No.
At this point in time, have you seen Jillian Kelly?
No.
Okay, with regards to the freezer, did you see anything under the freezer?
2 yellow ratchet straps.
Have you ever seen those before?
Not those specific ones.
Okay. Pursuant to the plan that you guys had, did anyone ever mention or talk about the use of straps?
Not that I recall.
And can you describe the straps for the court, please?
3 to 4 inch wide yellow ratchet straps.
Okay. How many were there?
2.
Where were they located at?
Under the freezer.
Okay. Were they like piled together? Were they stretched out? How were they?
Stretched out.
Okay. While you're seeing Veronica Butler and you're seeing Tad Cullum and you're seeing Paul Grice, you're seeing what they're doing. Do you see Tifany Adams?
No, not right in front of me there.
Okay. You don't know what she's doing at this very time.
No.
Okay. So what do you do next?
Turn around.
And then what do you do?
And then I went and got a shovel off the back of the flatbed because there was blood on the ground that Tifany wanted covered up. But wait, hold on just a second. She just said she hadn't seen Tifany. Go ahead. Sorry.
She covers that in a second. And how do you know Tifany Adams wanted the blood covered up?
When I turned, when I turned around, she was there.
Spoiler alert.
Right?
Okay, so you're watching Tad Cullum. You're seeing Paul Grice. They're loading Veronica Butler. You see the freezer. You see the straps under the freezer. And then whenever you turn, you see Tifany Adams. Is that correct?
Yes.
And what was that discussion? I mean, what was Tifany Adams saying at that point in time?
She was upset because there was a lot of blood on the ground.
Pursuant to the plan, was there supposed to be blood on the ground?
No.
So what did you do?
I went and got the shovel and tried to throw dirt on it
Where was the shovel located at?
in the back of Clint's flatbed.
Okay, what path did you take to get to the truck?
Around the same way I took the cell phones,
Okay.
on the east side.
West side. I mean, east side of the trailer?
East side of the trailer.
So you go and you get the shovel, and then what do you do when you get the shovel?
I went back and started putting dirt on the blood.
Okay. What path did you take to bring the shovel back?
Same one I took before.
Okay. What do you see at the back of the trailer whenever you're coming back with the shovel?
Nothing. The gate had been shut,
Okay.
and Paul was inside the trailer.
Okay. When you came back, did you see Tad Cullum?
No.
Did you see Tifany Adams?
Yes.
What was Tifany doing?
She was looking at everything that happened, the blood, the trailer.
Okay. What happened next?
Paul he said he cut his finger and was asking for tape
And where was Paul located at?
in the trailer.
Okay.
And so I got a roll of duct tape out from behind the driver's side of my pickup and handed it to Paul
And how did you hand it to him?
through the slats in the side of the trailer.
Okay. Can you describe where those are at on the trailer?
At the top of my head is if I'm standing on the ground.
Okay, so basically there's some openings at the top of the trailer where a person could stick something through the trailer.
Yes.
But those openings are at the top. They're not like in the middle or on the bottom.
No,
Okay, and did you hand him some duct tape?
I did.
And then what happened?
I finished putting dirt on the blood. The trailer pulled off. Tifany reached in and shut Veronica's car off because it was still running. I loaded the shovel in the back of the pickup, and we got in and drove to her house.
Okay. When you were shoveling dirt on the blood there at the crime scene, did you notice if there was anything else in the puddle than blood?
Floor dry had been put on the blood.
Okay, what's floor dry?
It's an absorbent that we used in the shop.
Okay, when you first saw the blood before you went to get the shovel, had there been any floor dry put on the blood?
No, not that I saw.
Did you see anyone put the floor dry on the blood?
I did not.
Did you see where the floor dry came from?
I did not.
So when Clint Twombly's truck pulls off with the trailer, what direction do they head?
South.
Pursuant to the plan, is that the direction they're supposed to go?
Yes.
Then what did you do?
Tifany and I got in my pickup and I took her to her house.
Okay, what route did you take?
South down 95 to that blacktop that goes across the Keys
Okay,
to her house.
so you go south and then you turn on the blacktop heading west.
Yes.
So while you and Tifany Adams are traveling to her house, did you all visit and talk in the vehicle?
Yes.
All right, what was discussed?
Just that things hadn't gone the way she planned and there was a lot of blood. And then right before we get to her house and we pulled up to her house, she asked if I would go down to where they were, where Tad and Paul were headed, and keep them calmed down.
Okay, and we're talking about the burial site.
Yes.
Why was she worried about them?
I guess she thought they were, I don't know.
Freaked out by the blood?
Yeah.
Wasn't supposed to be all that blood, was there?
No.
So did you drop Tifany Adams off at her house?
I did.
What did you do next?
I went home.
What route did you take?
West to 171 and then south to east west 27, which is a dirt road that goes to my house, and then back east.
Okay. When Tifany asked you if you would go to the burial site and watch the guys and make sure they're not freaking out too much or whatever it was you were supposed to do, did you tell her you would do that?
Yes.
Did you actually do that?
No.
When you arrived at your house, was there anyone there that you can recall?
No.
What did you do next?
I went in and changed my clothes, put them in a bag. The first thing I did was call my daughter to see where she was at on my personal cell phone.
Okay, just hold on for me just a second. So, Carrie, on the next page, we get some names in here that we don't like to share. We've not redacted this. So, do we want to hop over to where the phones pick back up? Or, because we're past the phone part.
Yeah, do you see where the phones pick back up?
It's in
It was right
her
after lunch.
lunch recess was had, after which the following proceedings. Let me see. Okay, I just found the lunch proceedings. To the very Florida call. I'm trying to find it.
Okay,
There's the
I
name
got it.
again. Did you find it?
Yeah, page 121. If you go to the right-hand side,
Okay.
start there.
What part of the right-hand side do you want to do?
Right where it says by Mr. Leach, line 5, I'm sorry.
Line 5.
So we could start on line 6.
Oh, do you have, you said page
121.
The actual page 121?
Yeah, actual page 121.
I was gonna
Of
say,
142, sorry.
line
We'll get
6?
it together. Yeah, line 6.
Okay. Ms. Twombly, did you or Cole Twombly, either one, ever take any clothes back to the burial site for Paul Grice or Tad Cullum?
No.
At some point in time, did you find some items in the back of your truck that hadn't been there before?
Oh, hold on just a second. Let me share this again.
I'm trying to make sure that I don't think there's anything.
Yeah, I glanced ahead real quick.
Okay. I'll keep glancing.
So there were some things on the back of Clint's pickup when we got back that hadn't been there.
Okay, what were those items?
Bag of floor dry and a claw hammer.
And what did you do with them?
Put them in the back of the half ton. And then we got home, switched them over to the one of our flatbeds there at the house.
Okay, and why were you moving them around?
Because they'd come from the crime scene.
Okay, and in the end, what did you do with those items?
We took them and...
When you say we, who took them?
Cole and I.
Okay.
And the 2 burner phones that we had.
So Cole Twombly and yourself?
Yes.
Okay. That's you.
Oh, wait. Where am I here?
I don't know.
Oh.
Line 6.
The floor dry and hammer and the 2 burner phones that we had, and dropped them in an incinerator at the place where our stepson was living.
Okay, and who's your stepson?
Frank Twombly.
Okay, and was that also in the Griggs area?
Yes.
Oh, get off the page. Get off the page.
Got it. There we go.
Okay. I missed one and I didn't want to miss it, but I'm trying to figure out where the next mention of the phones are at, and it starts lots of people's names start showing up in this. Okay. So was there another portion? We're trying to get to that point where
I was going to 124 for a reason. So let's see.
Okay, so when we hop over the 124, right? They're talking about Easter, and they get to the point they're talking about cleaning the trailer. I'm gonna do some kind of,
there you go.
Yeah, they're talking about cleaning the trailer, and that they were going to use a pressure washer that Paul had borrowed from Barrett and Lacey Cook. And those, if you remember, Barrett and Lacey Cook were watching the grandkids when all of this took place with the Kansas moms. And so I'm trying to make sure there's nothing on there. I think we can probably leave the transcript off the screen.
Yeah, I think we're good. I actually think we're good now. But I was looking.
No, I found it. I found it again. Yeah, we need to leave it off screen.
All right. And if you go to page 124, Tara, the actual page number, line 10 on the right-hand side.
At the Twombly farm?
No, the question is, did you all visit about what happened to Veronica's butler's cell phone and what happened to Jillian Kelly's cell phone? And Cora responds, I had asked her what she did with them. And she was building a fence at the time, and she told me they were buried at the bottom of a post hole. And I think that was it at that point.
I think so. Okay, so this fun exercise, in first off, freaking Tara and Carrie out because we didn't redact the way we were supposed to. It didn't even dawn on me. I apologize for that. A lot of talk about cell phones. A lot of talk. We've seen multiple comments for well over a year about the cell phones were recovered and the cell phones weren't recovered. They were thrown down an incinerator. They were buried at the bottom of a post hole. So we're going to kind of just dispel a whole bunch of stuff real quick. As far as the burner phones, 2 of the burner phones are supposedly accounted for in an incinerator. The other 3 burner phones, I think there were 2 or 3, those are the ones that Tifany took to that repair shop in Guyman. And that call was made to law enforcement saying, hey, I have these weird burner phones from Tifany Adams. And that's where they nabbed Tifany. So the burner phones were essentially recovered or accounted for. The phones that have not been accounted for are Veronica and Jilian's.
Yes.
They are not there. So those are the ones that were smashed with a cinder block, those 2 phones. They're the ones that were wrapped in tinfoil, and they're the ones that were put into the ammo can. And then that ammo can that came from Cora's truck, put back in Cora's truck, and Tifany took and supposedly buried under under a fence post, in a fence that she was constructing. And for those of you that are in the area, specifically, I think near the Hooker, northwest of Hooker, you probably know which fence we're talking about here. That's the only one that I'm aware of that had been under construction, and it's been searched. So Jilian and Veronica's phones have not been recovered. They are still MIA.
And see, Debbie has the same question I had earlier when we were on the phone, Tara. Wouldn't they make Cora tell exactly where those cell phones are? Well, my question was, why didn't they make Tifany tell them before they let her have this plea deal? Why wasn't that a part of it? Okay, you tell us where these cell phones are that you buried, and we'll do this. Because they're probably not going to get that information from anybody else unless Tad knows.
Correct. So I don't think Cora knows. I think I'm going to do some more speculating because I love to speculate, because it gets the creative juices flowing. It's not to create a story, it's to brainstorm.
Right. I'd like to speculate. I'm going to pull that Google Earth up right now.
Yes, please do. That would be great. I'll keep talking. So I don't think Cora knows. I don't think Cole knows. I don't think Paul knows what Tifany took off with those phones. I think she may have trusted Tad to help her hide them. I think we had some tips that originally came in that Tifany had some sort of interaction that was negative with some individuals out on her property near a fence. The stories vary regarding this tip about Tifany being out by a fence, screaming at workers, what are you doing? What are you doing here? That kind of thing. So maybe she attempted to hide these phones there in an ammo can. I know that law enforcement heard the same tips. I can confirm that they do know of these same tips. I do know that they have been searching for those phones, but they're not a big deal breaker or deal maker. So I can't say that this has been a focal point of the investigation, but it is an interesting one that everybody would like to have resolved. So I don't think those phones are at the fence post. However, we did receive a tip early on about Tifany and Tad being in a couple of places that they usually aren't seen in. And so what you're looking at is a map not too far from Yarborough School. I don't know if it's Yarborough. I'm going to say it in Kansas way, Yarborough Schools. And we have a couple of tips, one really strong one, and we're not the only ones that received these tips, that Tifany and Tad were seen in this area shortly after the women went missing but had not been found. So at that point, I was investigating this tip with Carrie, and she was boots on the ground at the time. And I said, hey, here's a location, here's a pin, go check out this pin. The dynamics at that point in time didn't allow for her to get out there. She had to go back home. So was the place searched officially or unofficially? I don't know. But once the women were found, that was it. Because that's what everybody was looking for, right? We didn't have all this other information, all these other details, the preliminary. We've got a much bigger picture than we did back in the day. And so that is why it's just a curiosity at this point. Those phones don't seem to be, they don't seem to put their thumbs on the scale in any way. But it would be nice to be able to return those to the families. I think most importantly.
It would.
Can you imagine? I know how many pictures I have on my phone. and I know somebody would want those. So just
Most
a
definitely.
lot of sentimental information that I think these families definitely should have
Yeah.
back.
And
So,
that back to that tip, if the person, I actually spoke with them on the phone um, while I was there. I don't want to give too many details out because that's a small area and people will be like,
mhm.
"Oh, I know who she's talking about." I don't want that to happen. But what I can say is that they were seen in this area shortly after the murders, allegedly, and um, the area they were seen in is not one that there was any reason for them to be there. They happened to run into a gentleman who was walking, and they were extremely rude to this gentleman. Um, and they said something to him, and I can't remember what it was that he said. Do you remember, Tara? There was something
Um,
that they had said to the gentleman that was really hateful.
I don't know about I was messaging back and forth with the individual that you spoke with, the individual who saw Tad and Tiffany,
Mhm.
and it was just the person felt like they were being laughed at, ridiculed from the truck by Tiffany and Tad, but this person feels very confident that they recognized Tad and Tiffany, and it
Right.
just was weird because it was unusual for them to be
Well,
out there.
yeah, and you can see the area on the screen. This is right where it happened. This is where they're saying it happened. Is in this area. So they were in this area right here. That's where they were supposedly seen. Now to the back of that, all it looks like is like I believe these might be lagoons, 3 lagoons back here, and I know there's some kind of Cow Creek feeders in that area.
I think so, yeah. It's a so for if it's a cattle area, I'm not sure the business out there. I'm not familiar, so I would love to have somebody message us. Um, but if maybe Tad and Tiffany being cattle farmers, being ranchers, what have you, maybe they would visit this area, but they would go a different direction. In this particular time, they didn't want to be seen, so they went a different path to and from. And that's how somebody's like, hey, I see them, but they're not normally here. So maybe not realize that they do frequent there. They just go a different way. I don't know. I would really love for somebody to give us a general understanding of what the space is used for, what it means. I'd love to get back in contact. My notes are so fuzzy from, this was a first time case and all these tips come in and we were not very organized on the front end. And at that time we were looking for 2 women and then we kind of dropped the ball on this tip because it's like, a few days later they were found. It's like, oh, okay, well, we're not looking
Yeah.
for anything anymore. Little did we know we were looking for a lot more. So our bad on dropping the ball. Lesson learned. Won't be doing that twice. So
Well, and
that's
there's been so much talk about these phones, and we've known that Veronica and Jillian's were never found, and we've been trying to say that for the last year. They've not been found. Personally, I would love for those phones to be found. Not only would it provide the family, back what they had in them, their pictures and their texts and all those memories that they want. It also might hold some other texts between her and Tiffany that might shed light on some things too. So anyway, I just would really like to find those. So if the person that called that I spoke with, if they see this, if they're watching, if you'll just reach out again, just so we can kind of narrow down the facts of what that was, and maybe we can help law enforcement get these phones back.
agreed.
LaDonna, we love you. Lots of hugs.
LaDonna, check your messages. Hold on, I'm
It's a lot.
responding.
Yeah, it's an
It
awful
is.
lot.
It is a lot. That's only a partial of the transcript. That's a lot. When we were in the courtroom for most of that whole ordeal.
Yeah, I
But
still struggle to even read it. It's just hard. So
it is.
I understand completely.
And it's kind of hard to believe we were there for a lot of it. I'm just like, oh my, and I want to go back and look at my written notes. I'm like, oh boy, how close did we get on this? And how much do we understand of it? And there's a lot to take in. And then you go back and you take it and cross check it against all the other pieces of information, all the other court documents. It's a fascinating case for all the wrong reasons. And you really like to see more punishment being served, but that's a soapbox for Tara to climb on top of another day. Getting back to the cell phones. So that was the reason for the cell phones. All the speculation, all of the facts up front. Veronica and Jilian's have not been found. Any other cell phone that has been of question, that has been mentioned in court documents, accounted for one way or another. So I think the other piece that had been brought up in several conversations was Jillian's gun.
Right.
And so poured back through all those documents, obviously, like I've said several times, I've gone through the transcript line by line within the last 48 hours. And Jillian's gun has not been recovered. Through law enforcement efforts, all the court proceedings, the documents that identified seeing were looking for a weapon in this warrant, and it has not emerged through all the court proceedings, through all the legal efforts. So it's law enforcement has not recovered it. I don't
Tara,
know.
just real quick, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Hold the fort down. I'll be right back.
I'll be right here.
All right. Okay.
No,
thank
you're
you.
good. I'll keep talking. And so as far as Jillian's weapon is concerned, yes, there was a magazine in her purse at the time. So clearly that looks like there's something that's missing. But I think that maybe something bigger to consider is a gun was not used in any of these legal activities. And so I'm kind of curious if maybe, since we've kind of stopped seeing that stuff we haven't seen any court documents, we haven't heard any court proceedings, it seems like there's really nothing to it. It may not be as big of a deal as the 2 cell phones. And so I know I haven't seen a whole lot of chatter about that, but there was a couple of things that came in with the last 48 hours of all of the information coming through with Tifany taking the no contest route. We wanted to put that out there and kind of revisit that and say, I don't think it matters much. I don't know that there's any interest in it because it doesn't keep popping up. We haven't heard about it in prelim. It's not any of the court documents. I sound repetitive, but that's okay. So I don't know that I don't know that Jillian's gun has any value to the case. I do think that there is value to those phones being found, if nothing else, just to give the family additional closure to this whole gross situation. I'm going to go to the comments to hold the fort down if I can get it to.
I'm here.
Oh, there she is. Holy
Thank
crap.
you.
She just kind of popped in out of nowhere.
Thank you. Sorry about that.
Oh, I'm on the wrong dang screen. That's why I'm like, I can't show the comment. It's because I see now. Hold on a second. I was going to the comments to highlight a few things. And the comment on the screens, they don't have any land in Surrey Hills. You don't have to. They didn't have any land where
and that's why that's why this person thought it was so odd that they were even there, because they knew Tad and Tifany. And Tad and Tifany knew them, and they just said there is no reason for them to be over here. And so
that's why these tips are so important, even though they don't have land in certain places. And trust me, I've got a couple of tools I've acquired since working with Carrie, and I drive her nuts with them. I'm like, look at this link. She's like, stop sending me these damn links. I don't care about the area. I'm like, I do. And I get to see all kinds of stuff. There's a lot of land that Tifany does not own, but she had a lot of influence over. You don't need to own it to influence it. If you go back to Cora's transcript on the prelim, there was 2 types of people in the Panhandle. You either loved Tifany, liked her at the least, or you hated her, and most hated her. But those who had connections with her, those that liked her, did what she said. And so it doesn't matter if they own land or not. We're going to go beyond that box of thinking and realize that if you've got something important that you need to hide, where are you going to hide it at? Where nobody's going to look. Let's go off the grid with that one. So totally true. They have no land in that area, but I don't think it matters much. Oh, you've got something else on the screen, don't you?
Yeah, this is just the.
Is that the schedule?
Arraignment, yeah. So upcoming schedule there's an arraignment, or were you finished with the gun thing? I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I
I
thought
covered
so.
all that
Okay.
while you were gone having a,
That's what
yeah,
I
when you
thought.
were, while you were taking a break, I was working. So yeah,
Thank
we're
you.
good.
Thank you. Thank you. So November 5th is an arraignment, and that is going to be, as of now, until or if things change, for Cole and Tad, correct? That's the date of their arraignment is November 5th. And then Tifany has a date on January 12th for sentencing, correct? A 3-day one?
Say that again. Give me the date again.
Is it January 12th?
28th, but somebody just sent it to me. Hold on, I have the dates. Give me a moment. It is, holy crow, there's a lot coming in on me.
January 28th is her
It's
sentencing.
28th, 29th, and I know, 28th, 29th, and 30th. There's 3 days. There's 3 days for the sentencing to take place, and the first two are going to be interesting because the first two are where she is going to tell her story. She has to share her side of things from her perspective, apparently. I'm trying to find the message that says that. So basically, Tiffany's going to have a couple of days to tell her side of the story, and then on the third day will be victim impact statements.
So Tara and I do plan on going to this one as well, obviously. So the November date we plan on it. And then January 28th as well for Tiffany's sentencing for those 3 days.
Yes. So, and that's as long as Tifany does not back out of this whole situation.
Right. And then we do have the schedule order, the agreed upon schedule order for everybody else. So we'll show that to you real quick.
Yes. I'm trying to, 28th, 29th, and 30th. Yeah, that's where I finally found it. Oh my gosh. Oh. And LaDonna did have to jump off, but she said she can see all the support and she really appreciates it. So thank you guys for being considerate and thoughtful and mindful of those. I know we read some pretty uncomfortable things. And it's hard. Hurting the families is not our intent at all.
Never.
This is an ugly situation, and we're going to stick with the families as long as they allow us to stick with them and help them through this, because even though the legal proceedings may be coming to a close with any hopefulness, it doesn't mean it ends for the families. The families get life sentences from day one. And so that's unfair to them. So we try to be as mindful of their vulnerableness as possible. And we hold their trust in high regard. So, but thank you for showing the same support to them when they're in the chat and being mindful of, if it were you, what would you want to hear?
Right. And to answer, I think, Patrick's question, when is Cole and Cora's arraignment and Paul's? Because none of those three have entered pleas yet. Well, Cora has entered a plea. Paul's entered a plea, but those are November 5th is the arraignment for Cole. And let me pull up real quick. I'll pull up Cora. So Cora's is November 5th for further proceedings. And that is the same for Paul. So Paul say further proceedings, so do Cora's. And then what was it that I just told you guys? Cole said arraignment. Cole's is an arraignment.
Yes.
So November 5th is the arraignment so far for Cole and Tad. Nothing's changed there. And then January 12th will be sentencing, or 28th, I think.
I think so. 28th. So 28th, 29th, and 30th is the process for sentencing. I don't know exactly where
for Tifany Adams.
Yeah, for Tifany Adams. So that will be, she will be it sounds like she'll be the first one sentenced and going forward into her final residential address.
Patrick said, I got a question. It's important. Shoot it at us. Okay, so this agreed scheduling order that I have on the screen, this is going to be basically for, I guess, the trial. So Tad and Cole at this point, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, they still could do what Tifany just did. We don't know. But as of October 2nd, this is a schedule order for the trials. And physical evidence inspection, January 13th. Initial motions to be filed, January 9th. Responses to initial motions, January 23rd. Initial motion hearing, February 11th. More definite and certain statement to be filed by February 13th. Additional motions to be filed by March 13th. Responses to those additional motions to be filed by March 30th. Hearing on parties' second set of motions, April 15th and 16th. Victim impact statements due by April 15th. Copy of in-life photograph by April 15th. Final witness and exhibit list to be filed, and parties to exchange pre-marked copies of all exhibits to be introduced and used at the trial. The state has to have theirs by April 15th and defendants April 27th. Additional motions and proposed jury instructions to be filed by April 30th. Responses to those motions May 15th. Hearing on additional motions and jury instruction conference May 20th. And then the final pretrial conference, jury orientation, jury excuse docket, jury selection and trial begins June 1st, 2026 at 9 a.m.
So important question from Patrick is, if Tad and Cole change pleas to guilty or no contest and don't go to trial, does Cora and Paul lose plea deals, since deal says they have to testify if at trial if there are no trials? So no, the plea deal is part of the plea deal is if there's a trial, you have to testify. That's part of their plea deal. So if no trial, they don't have to testify, but they're still going down the way they are. Just that's one contingency of a plea deal. So I've never heard of a situation, I'll do some research on it, where somebody was like, I'll testify, I'll go to prison for X amount of years, but I'll only testify if they have a trial. If they don't have a trial, then my deal is off and I'll go to trial. That's not how it works. Cora and Paul have entered into plea deals to stop the legal proceedings, go straight to sentencing. They're done, but their deals are contingent upon going and testifying if there are trials. So they're good to go. That is, Pet Mom says that's just not right considering the severity of what all they did.
It doesn't feel right.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't seem right, but unfortunately that is the way our legal system works. And nothing about this really is out of the ordinary. I mean, I'd like to see Tifany testify against the others. That one I think is what bothers me the most. That, and they could have made her tell them where they put the phones.
I would love, you know what, I'm going to kind of one up you on that one just to be a brat. I would prefer they all own up to what they did and they're part of it, and they all allocute and they all take their quote unquote whippings, their proverbial licks, like they're supposed to. If this was all about kids, right? This is all about protecting kids and protecting the child population. If it's all about taking out evil beings that are doing bad things to children, then why aren't you standing up and saying, okay, yes, I did this thing because of if you felt that strongly about it, then say that and say, yeah, I'm willing to go to jail because this was happening to those people and that is all wrong. And these are my convictions and this is my religion and this is my American state national feels. And so I stand by those strongly and proudly. How many people would stand up and say, hell yeah, that's great? No, they're not. They're like, oh, so actually it wasn't as bad as we said it was. And now we really wish we hadn't done it. They all backpedaled by being cowardly.
And I think, do you guys, when we were reading that portion of Cora's testimony, do you get the same feeling that I do? And that is that she's really protecting everybody but Tifany, maybe. Notice she like Cole's not anywhere around, right? Because Cole's just sitting up at four corners being a good boy. She doesn't see Tifany do anything. She sees Paul with his arms going up and down, and she sees Tad trying to help put Veronica in the trailer. But that's all she saw, right? That's it?
Yeah, so from what we read, yes. And I'll answer that because of this kind of goes into Deb's question. Deb wants to know why and how on earth these four did what they did and thought it was okay. Because if you read the preliminary transcript from start to end, takes you a little bit. I suggest a glass of wine or a cup of coffee because it's not boring, but you definitely need to breathe through it. I was in that courtroom when the most disturbing things in my life were said out loud, and I've been through some crap, and I'm just like, oh boy. Tifany, this is one of the things that also irritates me about her situation is the dropping of the conspiracy theory, because she, between Paul and Cora, both made it clear. Tifany asked me to help either get rid of Veronica, to take Veronica's life, to end her life. That was Tiffany's words to Cora and Paul. So the conspiracy theory being dropped, or the conspiracy charge being dropped, is really irritating to me as well. But when you have Tifany, one day when it's safe, either through our own way of doing it or some way we'll communicate, Tifany shared with Paul, the way she got Paul wrapped into this is she shared some of the most unimaginable, vile words regarding how one child could be trespassed against, we'll call it. I'm going to be very cryptic here. Right. And if you're curious, you can private message me, because we're not ready to put it out there, because the family does not need to be torn apart like that. I saw the family hearing these things in person, and I would not do that to them again on air. So if you want to know, you can message me. I will screenshot to you what Tifany told Paul to get him wrapped up. She literally said some things. She knew how to talk to him, to be like, I'm going to push this button and you're going to take somebody's life.
She knew portions. She knew a part of Paul's
life.
And
yes.
Paul had a rough upbringing. Paul had an abusive upbringing. And Paul explained it that he thought he was protecting these kids because of everything Tifany told them. And yeah, they all just believed her. There was never proof presented to them. They didn't see anything until after they were arrested.
They admitted that, and then they realized the proof
they went on her word
they
only.
were told. Yeah, they were told once they found it. And Paul admitted he did not go through his discovery, which means he didn't go through the evidence that was presented against him or anything. Didn't go through his case at all. He's just taken it. He's literally sucking it up, buttercup, and taking it like a man over the barrel, which he'll also do in prison. But Cora was very much. I went through everything, and I learned that it wasn't what Tifany said, because Tiffany's telling these people, yeah, Buddy Leach won't file charges against, the people who are, trespassing against my grandkids, and he won't file these charges. He won't do anything. And then Buddy Leach in the transcript says, hey, Cora, did you know that the charges were all applicable to Kansas only? And Cora's like, I found that out after I was arrested. Like, I didn't ask for any kind of evidence, because Tifany told me it was true and she was upset. So it was true. And so Tifany, that's why these people did what they did. And the Deanna, I don't know if it's Dean or Deanna. I apologize if I mispronounce your name. She wanted to know if Tifany was so upset over the blood amount, what did she expect? Because there wasn't supposed to be any DNA evidence anywhere. What was supposed to happen, based on what Paul and Cora both testified in prelim, was you get them, you subdue them somehow, you put them in the freezer, you transport them, and then you bury them. Like, that was their plan as far as what's been said in court. There was no, like, the assault from Paul to Veronica was completely ad-libbed by him, completely out of the blue. He wasn't supposed to do that. And so nothing went to plan, which is why, Tifany, it was stated later on that Tifany knew she was caught. It was just a matter of time, because it did not go to plan. They did not, but their plan wasn't that great to begin with. at all.
Yeah.
And it was
Beach Girl is really pissed off about the whole hospital situation. And Tiffany Gleason, I'm seeing your comments, Beach Girl. I'm right there with you. Um, I want to make sure I got this right. So we do know a little bit about the hospital situation. I'm not sure of what we can share yet, though. So as soon as we can share that publicly, we absolutely will share it all with you guys. And I'll just leave it at that. There would be too much to share it all tonight anyway. But I'll get confirmation of when and what we can. And we'll definitely do a live and cover the hospital case when we're able to.
And then I'm gonna tag Carrie Trejo.
Yep. I was gonna say you might as well address that.
I'm gonna address. So again, the kids are safe. That's all that matters. They are safe. We are well aware of where they are at, and it's nobody's business. I am going to get on a soapbox for this one. So Carrie, you might step aside, have a cigarette. I don't know, because this one gets my blood going. The kids have been safe from day one. As soon as all of this started, law enforcement stepped in and did what was right. They have been safe since day one. They have been going through the processes they need to go through, and it's nobody's business, right? There's no social justice warriors. There is no armchair sleuths. Nobody needs to be worried about what those kids are, because they're safe. We know exactly where they are. We know exactly what they're doing. They're good. They are good. So asking if they're okay, yeah, that's cool. Asking if the family's okay, perfect. They can also speak for themselves. When it comes to those kids, we're not going to do that. And I know people are just wanting to know, if they're safe or not, but let's use those words versus where are they? Because we've got some other individuals out there who have created extremely dangerous, volatile, toxic situations, to the point where pictures of personal residences are being taken. Pictures of people that should not be taken are being taken and sent around the internet. And so it is not okay to do that. I've been through a little bit of a trauma with my son, and I know Carrie's been through a trauma. And if somebody thought I was mistreating somebody and they were taking pictures of my home, giving them to another family member and then distributing that, no. So that's why the kids are safe. They will always be safe, because this situation occurred and somebody stepped in. They're fine. They're in good hands. Let it be. Focus on where the energy needs to go. Focus on, where are those phones at? Where in the hell did Tiffany get a deal out of this? A deal like that? What's going to happen with the other two? Are the other two plea deals solid? Are the others going to jail? Let's worry about that. Let's worry about it. Does the family need anything? Do they need just a bouquet of flowers sent to them anonymously? It's not okay to step in and insert yourself because somebody asked for proof. I can tell you firsthand that it's okay. The kids are good.
Yeah.
But going any further than that,
we just don't want to discuss them. And their safety as well is really important. So,
well, it's dangerous, because if somebody with stranger danger type of processes out there, and somebody comes up to, there are some children that have been involved in situations where they were approached because somebody out on the internet told other people, go help those kids, and they were fine. They didn't need help. And it caused these kids to be put into a position of trauma, because a stranger came up and was like, let me help you. I'll help you. And it freaked these kids out. They are adjacent to this situation, so they're in the area, and that's not okay. Always let the law enforcement take care of it. If they don't do it the right way, ask more law enforcement, but don't be taking pictures and reporting back, because you may not know what you're reporting on.
And sadly, people have done that. So Skank Hunter said, and that name cracks me up, by the way.
I can't keep a straight face.
The cooks definitely hauled ass out of the area. And I mean, I've always said I feel like they have knowledge. I still feel like they have knowledge, but unfortunately, that boat has left. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's and Deb, I get it. I think they understand the question because we worry about them, but we need to correct. We don't need to know where they are, but that question keeps coming up. Where are the kids? Not how are the kids? And the question is, are the kids still okay? Yeah. Are they still okay? That's all. And really, we shouldn't be even asking that because they're minors. They did not ask to be a part of this situation. As soon as I realized that we had not redacted what we were supposed to redact, we pulled that thing right off the air because none of these minors asked for this crap, and some of them got put right in the middle of it and didn't deserve it. So they just let them go heal. They've got a lot of work on a path to healing, so let them heal. Oh, the highway naming. Let's do that. That'll be fun.
Yeah, so we'll wrap it up, I think, with this, unless you guys have other questions or anybody has anything they want to share. So the final thing I want to tell you, I think I've mentioned it just a couple of times in the past, and that is naming that strip of highway there. So what we've done, and I have that on the screen here, I worked with our state representative to get these 2 highway signs posted. And I can't remember the exact wording. I want to say Veronica and Jilian Memorial Highway is what it will say. There'll be one sign pretty much where the scene was, and then the other one will be down there at the crossroads at Four Corners in the highway. And so I just wanted to real quick let you guys know that I received an email that the governor did approve the highway naming bill. The Department of Transportation will start dispatch of signs in November, so next month. And then they'll reach out to me at that time, and those signs will need to be paid for. So I think Clint has something. He is setting up a bank account just for this. And when that time comes, we'll let you know, and hopefully, if you can help with these signs, these highway signs, it would mean the world to all of us. All of us have worked hard on it, and mostly to the families. So I want to share you. That's the cool thing. So that's it. That's all I think I have. Anything else, Tara?
I think that was it, but let me check the notes because that dictates what we do now. Because we have
real
notes.
Quick, if you haven't, please hit the like button real quick. That just helps.
That'd be great.
It helps the video and the algorithm, so people that type in Jilian or Veronica's names, our video will pop up so they can get the factual information. And if you haven't subscribed, please do. Memberships help the channel greatly. It'll help Tara and I for these upcoming trips. We're going to have many of them, so that is pinned in the comments. And we appreciate you guys. We appreciate all of you that were here this evening, and everybody that's going to watch this on replay. We appreciate you caring about the case and the families appreciate you very much as well.
Agreed. So much. Oh my goodness. I think we've covered it all.
We have. All right. We'll end it here. That was just about 2 hours. So if you guys have any questions, anything you want us to cover, you can always message us, and you can always put it in the Facebook group. I assume everybody here is in the Veronica and Jilian Facebook group. But if you're not, there is one with about 20,000 members, and it's a very active group. We'd love to have you. All right. You guys have a great evening. Thank you so much. Tara, thank you for co-hosting. And I'll see you guys next time. Have a great evening.
Enjoy.
Bye-bye.